Hello, everybody, and indeed, Chicago Tony V here, and I recently completed a video entitled My Top 5 Prepper Pantry Staples plus one bonus item. What I want to talk about today is something a little bit different. Now, in the last video, I covered, how important it is to have a foundation, a baseline, have some really good solid staples. Today, I want to talk about the idea of enjoying ourselves. Make our food stores, our prepper pantry, make it something that we would just be delighted to dip into. All right. If we have to access our extra food storage, right, our prepper pantry, what does this mean? This means that probably times are pretty tough, right? Maybe there's some sort of food shortage. Maybe prices have gone so crazy that it's just not viable to go out and buy much food at the grocery store. Who knows? But if we're accessing our food stores, that means times are tough in some way. We know that. So let's go ahead and design things, put a little pre-thought into this, and make sure that we're enjoying ourselves. If we're going to suffer, let's organize our food so that we can, have a little bit of a party and enjoy ourselves. So I want to show you guys a little bit about the way I think about my pantry, my own pantry, and the things I'm putting away. And I'm just trying to think ahead in terms of, okay, if I'm in a situation where it's gloom and doom and it's no fun, and how could I enjoy myself? How could I just be pleased as punch to go dip into my pantry? Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things. In my mind, the way I have approached this is I just think about what do I really like and what would be special? What would I like to what would I like to make, to cook for myself if times are rough and I just had to totally do it off my food stores? Okay, so just in no particular order, for example, I have a bunch of this pumpkin puree tucked away. And the reason I do is because, I kind of like pumpkin bread. Now, I rarely make it, but when I do, it's just special and fun. So my thinking, of course, this is going to last for a super long time. And if times are tough, hey, guess what? I'm making pumpkin bread. It's not so bad, right? I'll be kind of happy about that. I have things like, this is actually right out of my long-term storage. I opened this just yesterday. Really good maple syrup, right? I'm going to be able to make some pancakes, right? Even if I'm cooking outside, I don't, who knows what's going to happen, but even if I'm sitting on the ground cooking, I can put some really nice maple syrup on some pancakes. I can be legit. This is really good stuff. And I think I get this, usually I get this at Aldi. They have pretty good prices. All right. Again, in no particular order. Something I've done, I'll show you. Every now and then, I make apple butter. I learned this from my dear old mom. She makes tremendous apple butter. So, just with some forethought and some apples and a little bit of preparation, I have a bunch of delicious apple butter tucked away. It's just tremendous. If I have to spend the next couple of years holed up somewhere and I get to dip into something like this, well, it's not all bad, right? Another example, put up a ton of tomato sauce. This is one of my sauces we grew the tomatoes in the garden this year. It's just carefully done. It's fresh. It's local. It's delicious. It's the way I like it. I like tomato sauce in a ton of things. So what I want you to be thinking about is, okay, what would make you happy? What would you be pleased as punch to have tucked away in your pantry? Of course, it has to make sense. It has to probably have a long shelf life and all that stuff. But you know what I'm getting at. All right. I love this. I love spices. I love flavoring things. I love these blends. Mrs. Dash, I think. I love these spice blends. I think these are Mrs. Dash. This one is garlic and herb. It's one of my favorites. I have a ton of these. And again, because I put a little forethought into this thing, I'm making some dish. If I can just, I'm going to enjoy it that much more. Spices are super important. You might not think about these things. I have a ton of these little packets. I have taco mixes. I have sloppy Joe mixes. I have all sorts of stuff like that. These are all things that are just whatever dish I'm making, it's gonna bump it up a notch. Now I'll tell you another example, and this is something you might consider. I think it's fun. It's not necessarily the most economical thing to do, but it's maybe something to consider. Maybe it would work for you. Now I have a bunch of kids in my neighborhood, right? Super lucky. They're all just fun and outgoing and cute and all that stuff. And, I imagine if times are tough, what could I have around that, the kids would enjoy? So something like an MRE, okay? I have a bunch of MREs tucked away. I believe this is military term, meals ready to eat, if anyone is, confused by that. And this one is pork sausage patty maple flavored. So this is like a breakfast MRE. Okay. Now what's kind of cool about these things is, first of all, it's a complete meal in here, which is kind of fun. But I think it's sort of adventurous. These are great for camping. I take these camping a lot of times. Kids love MREs. They love, a lot of them have different ways to heat the food. They'll have these interesting little heating elements. They'll have a dessert item. They'll have coffee in there, another drink beverage. So they're just fun and exciting. Again, it's not the most economical thing to do, but I picked up a bunch of these so that, we can have a little fun, right? If times are tough, the stores are closed down. All right, come to my house. Let's camp out a little bit. Let's have some MREs. Make some pumpkin bread, whatever. Okay. So I want you to think this is what works for me. This is a little insight into what's going to make me happy. But you think about for yourself, what's going to make you happy? What can you stock that's going to last a relatively long time that you could kind of be pleased as punch that you socked away for a rainy day? That's it. Let's have fun. Let's turn our prepper pantry into a gourmet food reserve. Let's find a way to really enjoy the food we've socked away. And until we meet again, keep on trucking.